How far can an electric bike go on one charge? I wanted to do a real-world test, a real-world adventure. So my buddy Alex and I rounded up a couple of e-bikes, and we wanted to set out on a one-day, single-charge, one-battery grand adventure. The bikes have an estimated 50-mile max range. And so we thought, because we had just ridden the Belgian waffle ride, that we could go out and do that course. It is an 80-mile ride. Now you may already be thinking, hold on, that is 30 miles longer than the estimated max range, and that max range is a soft number. The way we were going to extend the range of this e-bike such that we could get 80 miles or even, who knows, even more out of it, is that we were going to oscillate between 0, no pedal assist, and 1, the minimum pedal assist.
What do I say to it?
Whatever you want.
This is the Epic Electric. Oh, so far I'm on level 0. I'm saving all the battery I can. I have to not expend too much because I know from experience that we have a lot of climbs to do.
Before we even got to the first hill climb, I think I'd used around 10% of my battery, just trying to keep up with Alex. At around mile 7, we hit the first big hill, and on the Belgian waffle ride with a gravel bike with no power, this was a monster. And on an electric bike, we powered right up. I think we were at one point climbing at like 14 miles an hour, which is just insane.
We're climbing up Elfin Forest right now. The backside, we got Eric in the back there. He's killing it. We're both killing it. So, all in all, we're having a good time.
There's a couple of things that we're doing on this ride. Number one, of course, is seeing how far we can go on the battery. Number 2 is just comparing, my Belgian waffle experience where I'm riding a gravel bike versus my Belgian waffle course experience where I'm doing it, weeks later on an electric bike. And then the third is a little bit of, I don't want to say compare because there's no comparison between Alex and myself. Alex is a front of the pack rider. He lined up to the Belgian waffle ride and he wanted to win it, which is just mind-blowing for me. Meanwhile, I think my experience perhaps represents a broader range of people's experience. I'm a back of the packer is the reality of it. I would like to say in my defense, the Belgian waffle group as a whole is an amazingly fit bunch of individuals. We then descended into the first gravel section, and I gotta tell you, Alex really, it's so much fun riding with him because he just sets this pace, and we continue to move. We continue to click along, right? We had to jump this gate, and he's moving. We're jumping back on the bikes afterwards, and we're just tearing through this downhill. So it's really fun riding with a stronger rider like that, even though it's hard. And as we kind of descended into Hodges around mile 20 or so, I was really feeling it. And we picked up a buddy of mine who wanted to join us for a section of the day on his gravel bike. And I was so relieved that we now had 3 of us and he could kind of set a pace, hopefully that wasn't too hard. And I could kind of recover a little bit, as weird as it sounds. It was interesting watching him on a non-electric gravel bike compared to us on electric mountain bikes that we were trying to conserve, right? The reality of the Belgian waffle ride is that the terrain is not that technical. And so the gravel bike is, I would argue, an ideal bike for that situation. There were a few sections where I do think the mountain bikes shined. And then beyond that, it's like when you get to a bottom of a hill and you have to punch up, you kind of flick on with your thumb level 1 assist, and it just delivers monster power. But once we got to this drawn out farmland on dirt, he was the one who was leading. He was setting the pace, and we were drafting behind him on electric bikes, which is kind of almost mind-blowing to think about, but that's really like I would have preferred at that moment to be on the gravel bike. It's just smooth and fast. The three of us round a corner and we pass these two other riders. They were on FLX bikes, which is what Alex and I were riding.
No way! Look at that!
What's up? How you guys doing? Hey. I have never seen an FLX e-bike out in the wild. I'm a bike mechanic there, as is Alex. So yeah, it's cool to see them in the wild. The final section that we did with Ludo before he turned back was these another short series of hill climbs that are brutal. On the Belgian waffle ride, it was chaos. There were riders everywhere, and you got to think you're 30 miles into an 80-mile day, and so you're kind of starting to feel it in your legs a little bit. I walked some of the hill portions, as did a lot of other people, but when you transfer to the Epic Electric in this e-bike here, we could just power right up it, and it was like you're pedaling on flat ground. So that's definitely where the e-bike shines. After that, Ludo turned back and Alex and I forged ahead, trying to make it to, trying to go the distance here. When I did the Belgian waffle ride, we stopped at all of the rest stations, and like I needed to stop, don't get me wrong. But it's cool with Alex that we roll through and just kind of on to the next adventure. I still had 70% charge at the 40-mile mark, which is just incredible. So like halfway through the ride, I felt like I was doing great. Now we had a lot of climbing to go and it was ominous, but at that moment, I was feeling really confident that I was going to make it and pretty crucially not have to walk or drag a 60-pound bike up the last hill. That was a bit short-lived as we started getting into more serious climbing and the miles started dragging on. It's easy to lose 10-15% of battery on a hill, even in the lowest pedal assist.
Climbing up the backside here. Look, the the electric bike is clutch. I mean, I can still talk and do this, but like, I am working. I am at 63% battery. We're dropping fast. 47 miles total ridden. We got a little ways to go here. Alex doing his pro cyclist thing. I'm conserving at this point.
The plus side is that it carried you up the electric works and it carries you up these hills. And I was really starting to feel it, so I was using the battery more. And Alex had told me beforehand, hey, you got to be careful because at 30%, it's much closer to zero. One of the things you find out, like riding these bikes, is that when you stop, the display shuts off, the unit shuts off to conserve power. But when you turn it back on, it'll be at a different percentage, right? So usually it jumps up, is what I found, but not always.
Can I get in the camera?
Yeah, jump in here.
My fitness is on Training Peaks is a 1. Usually when I'm training it's like 100. It's a 1 right now.
I don't have a Training Peaks.
No. We know what a Training Peaks is.
I've heard the term before.
Training Peaks is a very good program, but
I cannot tell you how ecstatic I am that I have 10% more power.
Let's talk about that. Your battery is only going up. It's only going up.
It's because I'm putting more in than I'm getting out.
You're putting more in than you're getting out.
Nevertheless, we made it back to the base of the climb. Double Peak is the name of the climb. It's this huge, like 6 or 7 mile climb from the direction that we were. And both of us had a pretty significant amount of power left. And so we were able to climb the entire thing with power. Alex set it to max power because he was doing so much work with no motor. I think he averaged 19 miles an hour uphill. Meanwhile, I was just happy that I could pedal it assisted. So I think I shaved, to give you an idea, I did it twice as fast, that climb, as I did during the Belgian waffle ride. It was a blast and I was so relieved. And at that point, you're at 72 miles or so, 75 miles in that ballpark, and it's really downhill and flat to the end.
Only downhill. Downhill from here. We're at 80 miles. My battery's at 73% after blasting up Double Peak from the bottom of Quest Haven. And I'm like, how did I do this? My day has been not enough struggle. Too easy.
My day has been full struggle.
Hey. No,
Full struggle.
That's not true.
Okay, as I am not a former pro racer.
Hey, I wasn't pro.
So we descended into town and back to the start line, and it was a successful day. I made it 81.6 miles was the entire day and had 11% battery at the end. It was a great day. Thanks, Alex, for riding with me, and can't wait for the next one.